Hello everyone, welcome to Molecura. Today we're going to be talking about redox reactions. This is very important because energy production in our cells is largely dependent on redox reactions, and transfers of electrons is the way that our body ultimately makes ATP. So understanding redox reactions are going to be key to be able to understand metabolism better. Now in redox reaction, we have something that's getting oxidized, and we have something that is getting reduced, and we need to try to learn the differences between these. In oxidation, a compound is losing electrons. So oxidation means losing electrons, and reduction means gaining electrons. And we're going to see this in some examples. Now, the example we're going to see is going to be a reaction that is happening between A and B. So this hypothetical reaction is happening here, and what we have is an electron that is attached to A. A loses the electron here, and B gains this electron. Now, what is happening here? Now A, in this example, is losing its electron. So losing electron, as we said, is oxidation. So A is getting oxidized. And our B here is gaining this electron. So B is getting reduced. One more time. Oxidation means losing of electron. Here we have A that has one electron attached to it. A is losing this electron, so it has become oxidized. Reduction means gaining electron. Reduction means gaining electron. So what is happening here? Our B, which didn't have an electron, now and has one extra electron attached to it. So our B has got reduced. Now another thing to consider here is that our A is getting oxidized, but it's causing B to get reduced. So in this scenario, we can call A as the reducing agent. Reducing agent. Why is that? Because A itself is getting oxidized, but it's causing reduction in another compound. So it's reducing another compound. It's an agent that is making another compound get reduced. On the other hand, our B is getting reduced itself, but it's causing oxidation to happen to A. A is getting oxidized because B has gained the electron. So our B can be called as oxidizing agent. So this in a nutshell is our redox reactions happening. These reactions happens many times. It could happen through glycolysis. It happens multiple times through TCA cycle, and electron transport chain is transporting electron using redox reaction. So it's important to understand what is happening during these reactions to be able to better understand the next topics. So since this topic is quite important for us to be able to understand energy production in the body, we're going to go ahead with one more example of chemistry to see what is happening. So we have a chemical reaction in which copper is reacting with zinc. So this is our copper with 2+ charge reacting with zinc, and it's giving us copper with no charge plus zinc with 2+ charge. And as you can see here, there is a oxidation and a reduction reaction is happening. So first let's go with our oxidation reaction. So what is the oxidation half of this reaction? What we are having is our zinc. Zinc here does not have any extra electrons, but here it has 2 positive charge, which means it has lost 2 electrons. So what has happened to our zinc is our zinc has lost 2 electrons. It did not have any electron here. It has lost the electrons and has become zinc 2+, and of course the 2 electron that has been lost. So this is our oxidation reaction. And second one, we have our reduction reaction. As you can see, our copper here has a 2 positive charge, and here does not have any charge. It means that it has gained 2 electrons. So we will write it here. Our copper, which has 2 positive charge, has gained 2 electrons and has become copper with no charge. So this is our reduction reaction. Okay, so let's write it here. This is our oxidation, and this is our reduction. Now, there is something about this reaction that we need to know, and it will tell us why in this reaction copper is getting reduced but zinc is getting oxidized. What happens? What decides which one gets reduced and which one gets oxidized? And that has something to do with the standard reduction potential. Our standard reduction potential this is usually shown as E0. So what happens? Our reduction potential for zinc is minus 0.76 volts, and for copper is going to be at plus 0.34 volts. Both of them are shown in volts. So what does this tell us? This is telling us that copper has a much more tendency to gain electrons and to be reduced. So the more positive the reduction potential here, it's going to mean that that atom is more likely to lose electrons and to get reduced. In biochemical systems, oxygen has the highest reduction potential when it comes to metabolism. That's why we will see in the next video, which is the overview of metabolism, that the last acceptor of electron in the mitochondria and electron transport chain, it's going to be oxygen. So in fuel metabolism, the fuel, which is for example glucose, it's donating its electrons and it's getting oxidized. In the meantime, our electron carriers, NAD plus and FAD, are accepting electrons and are getting reduced. And this is important to understand, that there is an oxidation happening to the fuel while reduction happens to FAD and NAD plus. As an example that we can give you here is going to be a reaction that happens in glycolysis. We do have our glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate gets converted into 1,3-BPG. Now, this reaction is happening through the action of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate dehydrogenase. So in this reaction, our glyceraldehyde is getting oxidized into 1,3-BPG. And here we have an NAD plus that gets reduced to NADH. So in this reaction, our NAD plus is getting reduced and our G3P is getting oxidized. This is an example of a redox reaction happening in metabolism. So this always happens. Our fuels are getting oxidized by donating electron, and NAD plus and FAD are accepting electrons to get reduced. Thank you for watching. If this content is helpful for you, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you can explore more videos at Molecura.